स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय, भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय, शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय, स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय, स्वामी प्रभुदानंद भगवान की जय, माता पिता की जय, सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। अध्याय 4 श्रीमद् भागवत गीता अध्याय 4 वर्स नंबर 17। We are looking into verse number 17, and verse number 17 says, कर्माणि कर्म यः पश्येद कर्माणि अकर्माणि च कर्म यः सः बुद्धिमान् मानुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्सन्कर्म कृत। कर्माणि अकर्म यः पश्येत अकर्माणि च कर्म यः सः बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु सः युक्तः कृत्सन्कर्म कृत। The one who sees the actionless in action and inactionless and action in actionless is wise among human beings. That person is yogi. The person who is able to see the actionlessness in action, the person who is able to see actionlessness in action and action in actionlessness is wise among human beings. That person is known as yogi, who has done everything that is to be done. Bhagwan Shankara writes a detailed documentary on this, a commentary, whole commentary, a big bhashyam is written on this, that how action is to be seen as actionless, and how action is there in actionless, and how actionlessness is there in action. This we had been seeing, and we have come to the point where God says, God describes the person who has managed to fulfill all the items on the list as being one who is able to see action in action and inaction in action, he praises such a person and refers him or her as being wise, buddhimana. If seeing all that one has to do is to be wise, the seeing itself must be very difficult. The words themselves reveal the difficulty. How can you see action in inaction? And inaction in action. Very difficult. Action in action in action in action. Action in inaction. And inaction in action. To understand the words and the sentence is difficult. Understanding the meaning, revealing the meaning will be of what a level. In this expression, inaction, 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 कर्म करते हुए कर्म ना करना, कर्म ना करना, पन, कर्म ना करना पन, जो कर्म में है, और कर्म जो न करना पन में है. The usual locomotive case meaning of the word in does not apply here. When we say, where is he sitting? The response is on the ground, denotes a location where the action is sitting, is taking place. Similarly is the case with the statement, the book is in my hand. However, here Shankara dismisses any action of location with reference to action and inaction, saying that action cannot become the location or the basis for inaction. Inaction, being the absence of action, is not there to be located upon action. Inaction does not exist. We cannot say that non-existent inaction sits upon action. Just as we cannot talk about the horns that sit on our head. Do we have horns on our head? No. Horns do not exist for us, and what does not exist cannot be said to be sitting anywhere. Similarly, we cannot say that Vandhya Putra, son of a woman who never gave birth to a child, is sitting on the ground because there is no such person. कोई एक्शन नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि जिस औरत ने पुत्र उत्पन्न ही नहीं किया उसका पुत्र जमीन पर बैठा है. जो है ही नहीं वो बैठेगा कैसे? In the same way, inaction, being the absence of action, does not exist for it to have any location. Therefore, action cannot be the basis for inaction, nor inaction, which does not exist, be the basis for action. Therefore, the use of the locative case here is not to be taken in its usual sense. Rather, it means with reference to action, this person is able to see inaction. With reference to inaction, he or she can see action. In absence of action, karma abhava, the wise see action. And in the so-called action, they see no action at all. When you perform an action, there is the motion. I perform an action. Aham karomi. What is involved in I perform an action? What is this action? What are you doing? When you say I am talking or I am walking, the talking and the walking are actions centered on what? This is the question. When you say I walk, Your legs and feet are involved in the action of walking. The mind is also involved. Since there has been a decision, a sankalpa, to perform the action of walking, without a sankalpa, you do not perform a deliberate action. There is a thought, a desire involved. So, in the action of walking, the mind is involved, the legs and feet are involved, and even the eyes are involved. And when you see, I perform an action, aham karomi, aham is involved in this process, the mind, sense, and the physical body, and all involved. The physical body is called karya in Sanskrit, meaning product. The mind and senses are called karana, meaning instrument. This assemblage of karya and karana is involved in the action that belongs to you. That is why you say, I perform this action. And I also implies in action, I meaning Atma. The result of action belongs to the doer. When I perform action for certain result, and when the result comes, to whom does it go? Whom does it affect? It comes to me, and one who is the karta, the doer. Therefore, as the doer, I am the enjoyer. I perform this action for the sake of getting the desired result. Karma phala bhogya aham idam karomi. In this way, we see that action involves the karya karana sangatana. The physical body, mind, senses, complex, and also aham, I, the Atma. When I say I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, etc., on whom is the doership and enjoyership centered? It is centered on myself. Then a question arises, is the I, the Atma, a karta, doer, or a karta, a non-doer? If Atma is karta, then I definitely perform action. Karma which produces a result for me, this is real karma, binding karma. No action is possible without there being an agent, doer of the action of karta. For example, when we say Rama goes, Rama gacchati, the going is done by Rama. The agent of the action is of going. Although action is dependent on its agent, the agent is not dependent on action. It means that agent, the doer, has a choice in terms of action. He or she can perform an action, need not perform an action, or can perform the action differently. This independent doer, the karta who enjoys such freedom in terms of action, is what reflected by the first or nominative case in Sanskrit, prathama karata. There are number of factors other than agency that are also connected to action. Whatever is connected to an action because of what the action is made possible is called karata. There are 6 kinds of karta, the agents of the action being first, prathama karta, as we saw above. Then there is the object of an action. When Rama goes, Rama gacchati. Where does he go? He goes to the forest, vanam gacchati. Forest being the object of karta, object of the action of Rama's going. Thus we have a doer and an object of doing, karta and karma, referred to grammatically as a nominative and accusative, first and second case. Then how does Rama go to the forest? Does he go on foot or does he go on a chariot? What is the means of his going? The means by which he goes on foot is the third karta, instrumental case. And why does he go? What is the purpose of his going? Rama went to the forest to fulfill the word of his father, Pitra Vakya Paripalanya, giving us the fourth karta, dative case. From where does he go? From which place? From the city of Ayodhya, Ayodhya Nagari, he went to the forest. This gives us the fifth karta, ablative case. since it is also connected to the verb, the action of going, the final karta is the locative case. As in Rama lived in the forest, Rama vane avastha, avastha. Here forest is the seventh case expressing location. Not doing karma also requires a doer. Returning to the first karak, the karta, Shankara says that whether you say I did this action or I did not do this action, I, the ahankara, is involved. Both paravritti, the doing, and the nivritti, the non-doing, are centered on ahankara, the karta. Therefore, if I, the karta, I am the karta in both action as well as inaction. However, if I am not the karta, then there is no action at all for me. Because all action depends upon the karta, if I am someone who is not an actor, then I perform no action. Na kinchit karma karomi. The I is always free from the action. It does not do any action. Atma neither does action nor impels or prompts anything to act. Na karoti, na karyati. Mistaking action for inaction and inaction for action. If Atma is neither a simple karta nor a karyata, one who cause action to be done, how can there be any karma? This is to be understood. We just tried to say, I did this action, I did not do this action. The I, the ahankara, is involved, both pravritti and in nivritti. Pravritti in doing, nivritti in non-doing. Doing and non-doing are centered on ahankara, the karta. Therefore, if I am the karta, I am the karta in both action as well as inaction. However, if I am not the karta, then there is no action at all for me, because all action depends upon the karta. If I am someone who is not an actor, then I perform no action. Na kinchit karma karomi. The I is always free from the action. It does not do any action. Atma neither does action nor impels or prompt anything to act. Na karoti, na karyate. I hope you got the point. It is the ahankara, the I, which whether performs or not performs. If Atma is neither a simple karta nor a karyata, one who causes action, how can there be any karma? And if there is no karma, why does Krishna simply not say so? Why does he talk about saying inaction, inaction? Karmani akarma ya pasyat. Shankara says the problem is that we superimpose kartavya on the Atma, which is the real akarta, and say, I do the action or that action, when really the action belongs to Karya Karana Sangathan. To illustrate this problem, Shankara gives an example that everyone can relate to. When you are in a boat moving in a river You see the trees, the rivers, the banks moving in opposite direction. Even though you are moving in one direction, the tree seems to be moving in another direction. And you seem to be constant, and trees and all moving in the other direction. What does this mean? The trees are not really moving at all. They are not performing any action. But in these trees that are really standing still, you see an action. Akarmani karma darshanam. This kind of seeing is called viparita darshan, erroneous sight. As long as I am the karta notion is there, not doing any action does not make you an akarta. Therefore, whenever you say, I am sitting quietly, I am not doing any action, aham tusnim asam na kinchit karomi, you consider yourself to be a karta. Therefore, you are doing the action of not doing any action. To illustrate this, Shankara gives the following example. Suppose you are standing on the river bank and looking at the boat that is moving away from you. Having reached a distance, the boat seems not to be moving at all. To you it appears stationary. Thus an object can also appear to be constant when it is actually moving very fast. An example of this, one not available to Shankara in this time, is a movie on the screen. Although it is the movie, a succession of rapidly moving frames, things like trees, mountains and so on appear to you to be stationary. Here you see in action, in the action, karmani akarma darshanam. So in the world, we see karma in akarma and akarma in karma. Similarly, with reference to karma and akarma themselves, there is a viparita darshana, seeing what is not there. Darshan means sight, seeing, and viparita means other than what it is. What is? The self does not perform any action, and therefore there is no action. The action you see is really inaction. In other words, there is no action in action because Atma is a karta. Knowing this, the wise person performs action, but at the same time knows he does not perform it at all. Doing, the person does not do. Karavan na karoti, kuravan na karoti. Seeing, the person does not see. Pasya na pasyati. Hearing, the person does not hear. Shravana na sranoti. Similarly, smelling, one does not smell. Tasting, one does not taste. Walking, one does not walk. Talking, one does not talk. Thinking, one does not think. Even being confused, the person is not confused. A wise person can be confused. In that, his or her mind can become confused with reference to particular thing. For instance, there may be confusion about the direction to be taken in order to reach a place. So being confused, the person is not confused. Does not mean that wise person do not get confused. What does it mean for the wise person? I, the Atma in the statement, I am confused, remains untouched by any action because it does not perform any action. If a man is acting, we say he is acting, and if he is not, we say he is keeping quiet. But is there really a time when he is not doing action? Keeping quiet simply means the person does not have a job. And he may not even keep quiet. He may talk a lot, eat as much, hang around, and at the same time he says he is keeping quiet. Therefore, not doing anything is definitely an action. And for that action, there is an agent, a doer, a karta. Because people think they do action, they also think they do not do action. It is because both action, pravritti, and non-action, nivritti, are attributed to Atma instead of the karta, which is superimposed, aropita upon Atma. So Atma is taken to be the Karta, and the doing is not doing of an action centered on the Karta is mistakenly attributed to Atma. At the same time, no action is totally independent of Atma. In Atma there is no action whatsoever, because people do not know this. They are under the spell of delusion, ignorance, seeing action in action and inaction in action. One who is able to see Atma as a Karta never performs any action. Even when he does an action, karma, such person will see a karma in karma, because he knows that Atma does not perform any action whatsoever. The nature of Atma, the self, is in the form of pure consciousness. The very word self implies that it does not need to be revealed to you by anything else. You require no means of knowledge, pramana, to prove your existence. That which requires no pramana is self-evident, is the self. It is the Atma. And what is its nature? It is in form of pure consciousness, knowledge as such. Because Atma is unqualified knowledge, there can be particular knowledge, which is nothing but consciousness, plus some qualification that appears in the form of a particular object of knowledge. Knowledge as such must be there before it is called, can be qualified. For example, for there to be a pot knowledge, ghata jnana, cloth knowledge, pata jnana, man knowledge, purush jnana, or woman knowledge, stri jnana, there must be knowledge as such, unqualified by anything. This unqualified knowledge is the nature of the Atma. Knowledge as such gets seemingly qualified in the form of thought, vritti. With vritti, knowledge seems to be qualified, and without vritti, it is unqualified. This unqualified knowledge is consciousness. When the knowledge is there without a thought, there is no thought, there is no vritti, that knowledge is consciousness. Where all the vrittis take place. Unqualified knowledge is consciousness, the nature of Atma that performs no action. Why do we say that Atma performs no action? One reason is that action implies motion or some change. Try to think of an action without motion or a change. There is no action without any implication of motion or some change. Any motion or change from one condition to another, from one form to another, is action. Even the chemical reaction is an action. But can we say that Atma, whose nature is consciousness, is subject to action? Consciousness is not subject to motion, because being all pervasive, it is not located at one point for it to move to another point. Consciousness does not move within self either. It does not move. Consciousness does not move within itself either. Nor does it have any part to undergo any change. Consciousness not being an assemblage of things, only that which is put together can undergo change. Things that are put together will naturally fall apart without anything being done. It is their nature to fall apart, which is also an action. A car that is kept unused for 25 years will undergo some change. Even Rolls-Royce is no exception. Whether the car is running or not, it is subject to change simply because it was put together. Samhatavat. There is always entropy of things that are put together. A good way to understand entropy is to leave your room as it is for some time without doing anything about it. Just leave it. Do not sweep the floor. Do not clean. Do not put anything back in its own place. What will you have? Entropy. Anything that is put together tends to dissipate, to fall into disorder. This movement from order to disorder is entropy, which is also action. Only the self is not subject to entropy. Consciousness, entropy means energy unchanged. Energy not being changed into another form of energy. Consciousness, the nature of I, the self, does not tend towards disorder because there is no order. Atma not being made up of parts. Only when there is creation is there an order and therefore disorder. Atma is one whole, limitless in nature. Atma being not limited in any way, what can it do? It cannot go anywhere because it is not limited place-wise. It cannot change or modify itself into anything. It cannot grow into something or dissolve into something. No action is possible for Atma. There is not even sankalpa, decision in Atma. Nor is there any kind of thought, which is also action, to say I remain quiet. Means there are other times when one is not quiet. Consciousness does not say this because consciousness is always quiet. Nirvikalpa. It undergoes no modification, vikalpa whatsoever. It goes under no modification. It goes under no change. There is no change in consciousness. Because there is nothing that is separate from consciousness. Vikalpa is not possible. There is no such thing as the self going into something or reaching out of the world. It has already reached out the infinite. It is one whole, free from all limitation, in the form of pure, simple consciousness. Atma performs no action, nor does it prompt something else to perform action, and in its presence alone all activities take place. When there is an action in mind, senses or body, there is the presence of Atma, the Karta being nothing but Atma. Atma is not the Karta. But when the Karta is there, Atma is there. I am not the Karta. In fact, that is not known. I know myself only as Karta. I am the seer, hearer, thinker, doubter, and so on. I know that I am the doer of all the action. But I do not know that I am a Karta, non-doer. Not knowing I am a Karta, the Karta naturally becomes I for me, and I become the Karta. In fact, the Karta is I, and I is not the Karta. The problem occurs when the Karta is I. I also is the Karta. This happens when the I is not known, when you don't understand the nature of I. I am consciousness, the Atma, the non-doer. A person who knows the self sees inaction in action. The one who understands the self which is other than that what we generally understand by akarma and karma. Because doership, kartatva is there. Akarma is reduced to karma. Therefore, being a karta, an agent of akarma also, the person who says, I do not do any action, is doing action because there is a doership. And the person takes himself or herself to be the doer of no action. Till the time the karta have the sense of doership, as long as the karta is there, karma is also there for the person. Be it paravritti karma or nivritti karma, action or inaction. Both belongs to karta alone. The one who sees things as they are has wisdom. If the person knows, I am not the karta, he sees a karma in both karma and the so-called akarma. Krishna says that the one who sees Atma, the self, as one that is free from kartatva, doership, is buddhiman. The literal meaning of buddhiman is one who has an intellect, buddhi, just as dehavan refers to one who has dehavan, the one who has the physical body, deha, but everyone has a buddhi. Why does Krishna call this person a buddhiman? Buddhi has to be understood here as wisdom in form of self-knowledge. Thus the one who has buddhi has a knowledge or the self and is therefore wise. Buddhimana. Wisdom is seeing things as they are. One who sees things as they are in terms of reality has wisdom and is therefore wise. Wisdom does not mean that person has generated a new line of thinking. Wisdom does not mean that there is something new which will come up. Here Krishna refers to a person who is able to see karma and akarma as they really are, as a buddhiman, a wise person among human beings. Sah buddhiman manushyesu. Krishna also called this person a yogi. Sahyukta, meaning that he or she has lived a life of yogi, which has paid in terms of wisdom. Yoga being meant for gaining this knowledge, and such a person living a life of karma yoga has gained what it had to offer him. He is a real karma yogi. An accomplished yogi understand what is to be understanding what is to be understood. He or she is a person of fulfillment. Krit san karma krit. Karma krit. This is the definition of a yogi, a true person who understands, who has the self-knowledge, who can understand that there is no action or there is no action also being taking place. Samsara, the orbit of action and result. To know oneself as a karta is to know oneself as abhukta, one who is not an enjoyer. This we will see tomorrow. See, this action and inaction is not easy to understand. It is going to take some more time. will take a longer time to understand. Even Swamiji has written, even Adi Shankaracharya ji has written a long bhashya on this. This is to be understood deeply. And this is the only topic which is to be understood, which clarifies, which makes the way clear for moksha. Once you understand that there is no action in action, so we'll do how samsara, the orbit of action and result. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om